Imagine embarking on a journey back in time. You are walking along an ancient road where every stone whispers stories from the past. At the end of this sacred path lies Didyma, one of the most famous oracular centers of the ancient world. Here, the Temple of Apollo rises in all its glory. People traveled from distant lands to seek answers to their deepest questions, trying to find their way under the guidance of Apollo, the god of sun, music, and prophecy. This place was not just a place of worship. It was a center of mystery, power, and prophecy. The magnificent Temple of Apollo in this sacred area was known as the second largest temple of the ancient world. The temple had 122 columns, just 5 less than the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus. Today, with only 1 column of the Temple of Artemis still standing, visiting the ruins of Didyma offers an impressive experience that showcases the lost grandeur of ancient temples. Despite its ruined state, Didyma still exudes breathtaking majesty with its colossal structure, and 2 original columns remain standing. The word Didyma means twin in Greek and refers to the twin gods Apollo and Artemis. In ancient Greece, the oracle of Apollo at Didyma was considered the most important oracle after the Oracle of Delphi. Today, Didyma exists as Didyma, a captivating coastal town on Turkey's Aegean coast. Although known for its golden beaches and turquoise waters, the ancient ruins of the Temple of Apollo lie at the heart of the town's history. Tourists come not only to sunbathe, but also to explore the region's incredible history and walk through the ruins of what was once a significant spiritual center. The history of Didyma dates back thousands of years. Settlers from Crete and Mycenae established themselves in the region around the 16th century BCE. Over the centuries, the area witnessed the rise and fall of many great civilizations. The Lydians, Persians, Romans, and Byzantines all left their mark here. Long before the Greeks arrived, Didyma was famous for a mystical natural spring believed to have healing properties. Local people saw this spring as a blessing from the gods. As they often did, the Greeks adopted local traditions and incorporated them into their own mythology. Just as they transformed Anatolia's mother goddess Cybele into Artemis, they brought Apollo to Didyma and built his temple. The oracle of Didyma would receive Apollo's prophecies through this enchanting spring, which was considered the source of divine predictions. One day, as Apollo wandered along the Aegean coast, he encountered a young shepherd named Branchidae. Captivated by Apollo's beauty and charm, Branchidae became devoted to the god with great loyalty. Moved by the young man's pure heart, Apollo bestowed upon him the gift of prophecy. Honored by Apollo's trust and praise, Branchidae established a sanctuary in Didyma dedicated to Apollo. Thus, the first foundations of the temple were laid. Descendants of Branchidae became known as the Branchidae and served as the temple's priests. These priests were regarded as representatives of Apollo, performing sacred rituals and conveying the god's prophecies to the people. For generations, the Branchidae priests carried on Apollo's prophecies and maintained this sacred site. One of the most important elements of the temple in Didyma was the sacred oracle well. It was believed that this well drew its power from Apollo and contained the gift of prophecy. Visitors to the temple believed that priests could access the prophetic power of the god by drinking from the sacred well or meditating near it. The priests conveyed the magic of this holy water and Apollo's messages to the public as intermediaries. The first Greek temple at Didyma was a modest structure dated to the 8th century BC. It comprised a sacred area, or temenos, which included an altar and a well where the oracle received visions. At the heart of the temple stood a laurel tree dedicated to Apollo. Archaeological excavations conducted in the 20th century confirmed the existence of this ancient temple, providing a glimpse into its origins. In the 6th century BC, the people of Miletus, the most powerful Ionian city of the time, decided to build a larger temple known as the Archaic Didymaion. This was no ordinary temple. Surrounded by 112 massive Ionic columns, the structure was designed to awe and inspire. The temple became a symbol of Miletus's power and the divine presence of Apollo. The Branchidae became the sacred guardians of the temple, responsible for conveying Apollo's prophecies. They possessed extraordinary abilities and could interpret the oracle's visions with unmatched clarity. However, some mythological narratives suggest that this priestly lineage was cursed for treachery. During the Persian invasion, the Branchidae priests betrayed Apollo by surrendering the temple to the Persians. There is a legend that Apollo never forgave this betrayal, leading to the belief that the Branchidae were cursed. Following the betrayal, priests from this lineage were exiled and never allowed to return to the temple. However, this magnificent temple was not invulnerable. In 493 BC, it was destroyed by the Persians. The armies of Persian King Darius attacked Didyma, plundering the temple and devastating the sacred site. Many sacred items were stolen during the Persian occupation, and the temple suffered great damage. For nearly 2 centuries, Didyma remained in ruins. The once flowing sacred spring had dried up. According to legend, when Alexander the Great conquered the region in the 4th century BC, the sacred spring miraculously began to flow again. This event marked the rebirth of Didyma. Alexander visited the site and was enchanted by its sanctity. Under his influence, plans for the temple's reconstruction commenced, continuing under the patronage of one of Alexander's generals, Seleucus I Nicator. The new Didymaion, designed in grand Hellenistic style, was constructed on an epic scale, intended to be the largest temple of its kind. This new temple featured colossal columns towering over 60 feet, intricately decorated bases and capitals, and an expansive inner sanctum accessible only to priests. Although the new temple was never fully completed, it became one of the most extraordinary architectural achievements of the ancient world. The magnificent reconstruction of the temple was initiated by the famous architect Paeonius of Ephesus. Guided by the wealth the Milesians gained through trade and their growing importance as a cultural center, the temple reached its zenith, particularly in the 3rd century BC during the Hellenistic period. This era marked the spread of Greek culture to the Eastern Mediterranean, influencing art, architecture, and religious practices. Didyma continued to thrive during the Roman period. High-ranking Romans, such as Emperor Trajan and Hadrian, became its patrons, financing restorations and hosting grand ceremonies. Even the infamous Emperor Diocletian sought guidance from the oracle before launching a brutal campaign against Christians. The Temple of Apollo consists of 2 main sections, the naos and the adyton. The naos is the main part of the temple, housing the statue of Apollo. The adyton is a sacred area accessible only to priests, where prophetic rituals were performed. The temple was built in the peripteral style, meaning it is surrounded by a single row of columns. Constructed on a high stylobate, the temple attained an imposing appearance. The columns are of the Ionic order, known for their elegant spiral capitals. There are a total of 122 columns, some of which exceed 20 meters in height, making it one of the tallest temples of its time. Throughout history, the Temple of Apollo served not only as a spiritual center, but also as a political power hub. Rulers and military commanders consulted the oracle's prophecies before embarking on significant endeavors. The prophecies were often delivered in cryptic verses that required interpretation by the Branchidae priests. This sacred dialogue played a crucial role in shaping military campaigns and civic decisions during many significant historical events. As Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, pagan temples like Didyma began to fall out of favor. In the 4th century AD, the Temple of Apollo was transformed into a Christian basilica. The once sacred spring, the source of Apollo's prophecies, was now used as a baptismal font. Over time, due to earthquakes and neglect, the site fell into ruins, and the temple was largely forgotten during the rise of the Ottoman Empire. Today, the ruins of the Temple of Apollo still stand, with its colossal columns reaching toward the sky. Visitors from around the world marvel at this once mighty temple, embarking on a journey through history as they follow in the footsteps of ancient pilgrims. Though Didyma is no longer a center of prophecy, it carries the memories of an era when gods and mortals walked together. If you have an interest in ancient history or simply wish to explore a fascinating corner of Turkey, Didyma offers a unique journey through time that reminds us that the past is never too far away.